We have a presentation by Rakan BIN DOHAISH, lead at the Saudi G20 Infrastructure Working Group.
I want to thank the French Ministry of Economy, Finance and Recovery, as well as Paris Europlace, for inviting me to this very important event to speak on the main achievements of the Saudi G20 presidency in the field of infrastructure. I wish I could be there with you in person, as I did last year, but the current situation had its limits on us. In fact, it is an opportunity for us to utilize and test our existing infrastructure and technologies so we can provide solutions to any gaps that might exist. Before getting into infrastructure achievements, let me begin by presenting the multifaceted G20 response to COVID pandemic and then focus on infrastructure investment. As the COVID crisis began to unfold, the G20 adopted immediate and exceptional measures to address the impact of the pandemic, including the implementation of an unparalleled fiscal, monetary, and financial stability actions. The G20 countries have injected an unprecedented $11 trillion into the global economy, the largest support in record and over 4 times what was provided in the global financial crisis. In addition, in April, the G20 finance ministers and central bank governors endorsed the G20 action plan supporting the global economy through COVID pandemic, which provides a comprehensive set of commitments aimed to safeguarding and ultimately rebuilding the economy. In this context, supporting the most vulnerable countries has been a key priority for the G20. Ministers and governors are committed in the G20 action plan to rebuild efforts to promote quality infrastructure investment, accelerating efforts to mobilize private sector resources of infrastructure financing aimed at rising productivity, lifting growth, and promoting job creation. Let me now turn to the infrastructure investment achievements under the Saudi G20 presidency. As we all know, infrastructure plays a significant role in promoting economic recovery, sustainable development, and resilience. Despite G20 efforts in promoting investment in infrastructure, the gap in financing the infrastructure investment remains significant for both developed and developing economies. To improve the infrastructure financing in terms of both quantity and quality, the G20 under the Saudi presidency worked on 2 priorities. First, utilizing the benefits of technology for infrastructure. Second, continue the work on the G20 roadmap to infrastructure as an asset class, with a focus on improving regulatory framework for private sector participation. With regard to the first priority, the G20 members have appreciated the vast benefits of more technology uptake in infrastructure. Indeed, substantial benefits, including reducing time to rebuild, increasing the return on investment, lowering cost, and delivering better social, economic, and environmental outcomes to meet the sustainable development goals. To increase the uptake of technology in infrastructure sector and utilize the benefits, the G20, with the support of relevant international organizations, developed the G20 Riyadh Infratech Agenda, which was endorsed by the G20 finance ministers and central bank governors this July. The G20 Infratech Agenda is a high-level policy guidance for national authorities and international community to advance the adoption of new and existing technologies and infrastructure to reap its benefit. It enables governments to save money, make informed decisions, and enhance governance, among many other benefits. Although the G20 Riyadh Infratech Agenda has a tilt to infrastructure investment, the second priority is purely focused on infrastructure investment aspects. As I said before, public investment in infrastructure will not be enough to meet key infrastructure economies and development objectives. Thus, it is essential that countries improve their use of available resources and partner with the private sector to promote infrastructure investment. This year, the G20 established a collaboration with the private sector. The collaboration, which took shape through meetings and engagements with more than 100 institutions, is reflected into a G20 OECD report on the collaboration with institutional investors and asset managers on infrastructure that was welcomed by ministers and governors in July 2020. By the way, many of whom are actually speaking and participating in this event. The report contains several proposals collected from the private sector for creating an enabling environment for private sector investment in infrastructure based on identified key issues and challenges. These proposals aimed to first encourage long-term strategic and collaborative approach to enhancing the supply of investable infrastructure projects, and two, to promote fair and transparent investment frameworks and strong regulatory institutions that are able to attract private sector investment. In fact, ministers and governors have also asked to continue this collaboration to advance the proposal in this report. With the private sector collaboration, Infratech, we have made a stride towards filling the infrastructure financing gap and can assure that the G20 will continue to advance infrastructure investment work. Thank you again for inviting me to this event to share with you the main achievements of the G20 presidency in terms of infrastructure, and I wish the very best to our Italian colleagues next year for their presidency, and I look forward to Jessemina's session next panel. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much. That was the presentation by Rakan BIN DOHAISH, leader the Saudi G20 Infrastructure Working Group.